this show is on,
Mhm.
and they don't seem to leave. So, clearly they listen to the show they deserve.
I guess that's true. People choose to listen to this. Could be
For some
doing
reason,
anything else.
Yeah, well, Ben, keep listening, because I've said this before and I've said it again. My goal with this show is to get big enough so that when I finally buy a house and have to deal with an HOA, I can employ Scientology tactics. Like, just any problem. Like, I want it to, the show could just get big enough that when I have to deal with an HOA board, I could just tell them, I'll say your address on the next episode and see what happens.
Oh, okay. Like, I gotcha.
Like, using our position to, like, use for, like, implicit threats of violence,
Sure.
We just need our listeners to be willing to carry it out on our... Well, it doesn't, our listeners right now, you guys are a force to be reckoned with, but you're not a large enough force yet. So the two things I need you guys to do is tell your friends about this show. Number one, share it on social media, share it with your friends, and number two, radicalize yourselves a bit.
Okay.
For us.
All right. Yeah, I guess I can anticipate a day where the waiter at IHOP forgets my side order of sausage, and in that case I would have more ammunition than I'm gonna leave a shitty Yelp review. It's that I'll blast, I can.
I have a few thoughts about this one, Jason, but my main one is, who is leaving or looking at a Yelp review for IHOP?
My dad, for one.
International House of Pancakes seems a bit too foreign for me.
Right.
I'll go. Why don't you take me to an AHOP?
Right.
Anyway, as you guys can hear from the incredible comedy coming through your ears, this is Underworld News Tonight. I'm Andrew Michaels. I am joined, as always, by my co-host. He's best known for the founder of the extremely controversial Fuck the Troops, Support the Comedy Podcasters campaign, Jason Strong.
Yeah, did not go well.
Yeah, I said it wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Appreciate the exuberance, though. Anyway, what we do on this show is we talk to you guys about the weird, wacky, and wild news of the week. What you guys do is listen to the show, which you're already doing. Good job. Two other things you guys can do if you want to be involved with the show is I leave a Spotify question in every show. You can find that if you're listening on Spotify, and I'll also say it whenever I think about it while we're talking. You guys could answer that. And if they're funny, I'll read them on the show next episode. And then number two, every episode on Spotify as well, you got a poll. What's your favorite story? You should vote in that poll, because then I'll talk to Jason about it and I'll be like, hey, this story is, people don't like this type of story. They like that type of story. You know what? Maybe you guys, I'm sorry. Maybe I don't want to come on too strong. And Jason, you can let me know if I'm being like not nice to our audience today, because, I feel like.
Yeah, that ship has sailed already.
All right. Well, anyway, so I guess at that, why don't you fucking guys, honestly, instead of fucking sitting on your ass, listening to fucking podcasts all day, why don't you get involved and fucking be part of the change? Don't start a competing podcast, but be part of the change that you want to see by voting in the Spotify question. Be proactive.
Okay. Well,
can't just come from our ample podcasting teats.
I guess I'm just grateful that people listen at all, and I'm content with that. I'm more than thrilled. You don't really have to do anything else. But thanks.
You know what I'm not thrilled by, Jason? You know what I'm not thankful for?
What is it today?
The worst. What would you say the worst crime you could commit is?
Oh man. I don't know. I think that's hard to even like articulate.
Well, I can articulate it in a pretty small number of words.
Mm.
Copyright infringement of a small comedy podcast.
Yeah.
Because if you'll remember, a number of episodes ago,
Okay.
I'm not gonna fucking check back how many. You guys, for some
No.
reason, listen to this show. I couldn't. I could never. Uh,
Mhm.
I made a joke at the beginning of the show, a daring joke, a
Mhm.
groundbreaking joke about
Yeah.
what if the film Wonka,
Mhm.
starring Timothy Chalamet,
Mhm.
what if that movie was weird and unsettling?
Mhm.
Do you remember this? I
Yeah,
sang a little song, did a
I
little
do,
bit.
actually, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I remember that.
it was funny, it was original, it was
Mhm.
groundbreaking. Nobody had ever thought of something like
No.
this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, just yeah.
Well, this story is according to Forbes. I was reading it this morning. I got to check up on the investment portfolio. You know how it
Sure.
is.
Yeah, Forbes. Yeah, I read it,
Yeah,
yeah, daily. I don't know how often does it come out?
I,
Weekly?
I I read it during my weekly bidet and cigar.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah, that's the time.
I recently got banned from the Delta Lounge for it, so I don't know where I'm gonna get that from now on.
Yeah.
But before that ban, this is from Forbes.
Mhm.
Glasgow, is it Glasgow or Glasgow?
I think I've always heard Glasgow, but I'm by no
Glasgow.
means an authority. Yeah, Glasgow.
Willy Wonka experience.
Mhm.
This headline says unite the internet in laughter, but really it was quite unsettling. This is a story by Danny DiPlacido. It's a
Mm.
senior contributor to a business magazine. They have been studying business journalism their whole life, and they're writing
Right.
about the
The
Glasgow or maybe
what
the Glasgow Willy Wonka experience. I'm gonna say Glasgow; it's
right.
easier. The
Okay.
Glasgow Willy Wonka experience,
Mhm.
doing kind of shit. Uh,
Well, who
so
else? Yeah, I mean, you gotta send your best guy.
you got to send your top dog, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, they just found out Cronkite's dead. Uh,
Mhm.
so this was advertised as a Willy Wonka experience. It was advertised using some AI generated imagery uh, that looked like absolute shit,
Mhm.
which included the phrases catgating. I'm sorry, I can't actually say this right. Catgut catgacating. I think it's supposed to say captivating, but it says catgacating. C A
Okay.
T G. So the AI generated image they shared, we're gonna put it on our Instagram. It's like clearly a fake picture of like a clown holding a balloon and like surrounded by
No.
candy. It doesn't look good. Like just picture that shit,
No.
right? And then they
Yeah.
have like the things they say there. The first one. We're on the first word. Cat. Catgacating. Catgacating.
Catcating.
Before we even get to the event,
Uh-huh.
I ask you two questions because the big thing about this event, spoiler alert, children left crying.
Mhm.
It was at the very least mentally unsafe, and it's going to get real crazy. We're going to really get into this.
Mhm.
But my first question is, do you know what catgacating is? Would you go to an event that promised catgacating?
Man, that's a tough question. I guess I would have to know more about the, AI image used to sell it.
It's a clown. He's holding a balloon lollipop that has it
Mm.
looks like a big booby lady drawn in the Hercules vase art style. Like if the
Okay.
Hercules McDonald's cups were like old
Mhm.
timey porn cartoons that probably are how you had your sexual awakening. Like
Yeah,
picture a combination
100%.
of those two,
Mhm.
and you'll get the idea. There's a unicorn
Mm.
famous from Willy Wonka.
Of course.
Two two lollipops, one of which is not attached to a string and clearly melting.
Mhm.
Uh, a
Mm.
teddy bear that looks like it has shoulder pads, ice
Okay.
cream and drums. I mean, I don't know how else to describe this, Jason. I know the audience
That
doesn't like me going too deep on
no,
image
no, no.
descriptions, but
Yeah. It's I don't I didn't read the book, the Roald Dahl book. I've seen big fan of the movies,
of
particularly the
course,
Gene Wilder. I don't there wasn't clowns in it, were there?
I
I
don't
don't
think
remember
so. No,
a single clown from either of the
no.
Wonkas I've seen.
I think that in the Great Glass Elevator, it gets established that after Willy Wonka became Chocolate King, he did institute a clown genocide, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. No, that sort of tracks for, Roald Dahl.
Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah, no, please continue. Yeah, it already sounds it's not even things I associate
yeah.
with
So
Willy
next,
Wonka at all.
it says live performances. You know,
Okay.
that's a nebulous term. Live
Mhm.
performances. Always ask from whom, because
Right.
you can see a live performance. You
Mhm.
know, you could see a live performance at any bus station in the country
I was
right
gonna say,
now.
yeah, 2 rats scurry across the floor, live
Yeah,
performance.
exactly.
Yeah, live animal performance.
Next, Carchy Tons. I think it's supposed to say catchy tunes, but it says
Mhm.
Carchy,
Carchy, sure, Carchy Chuns.
Cartchy, Tons,
Mhm,
Tuns.
mhm.
And then next, Exarserdray, Exarserdray. This sounds like a medication that to treat but also simultaneously cause anal leakage.
Right.
Exarserdray lollipops.
Ooh, no.
A
That yeah.
passadice of
Uh-huh.
sweet teats. I'm
Nice.
not having a stroke on
I
the
could
air.
mhm.
This is what the image says. I swear to you, this is what it says.
I could I could I could always go for a passadice of sweet teats.
Yeah. Now, a lot of images have gone viral. First off, this is clearly like some weird stage art, like, kind of nice, like sculptures of like mushrooms and stuff, just like haphazardly thrown into a warehouse.
Okay.
Um, One of the images you might have seen that went viral, again, they're all going to be on our Instagram, is what looks like an Oompa Loompa meth lab. I don't know how else to describe it. It's
Oh,
supposed to be
right.
Oompa Loompas making candy, but it's two Oompa
But
Loompas
it's
sitting by what must be intentionally a meth lab. Like
right.
I don't know how else to think of it as anything else.
Right. Right. It looks like a high school chemistry class. As if
It
I'm recalling the right image, like, there is nothing whimsical
it was
about it.
where whimsy dies.
Yes.
Um this event's been described as Fire Festival for kids, which seems a bit dramatic because they were like stuck on an island in Fire Festival, so that
Right.
was a bit different. Like overnight, the kids could just leave the warehouse, or else this would be a very different story that we probably wouldn't
Mhm.
cover. Um, so the actress who played this is from another story. I think the version in People. The actress who
Okay.
played the one of the Oompa Loompas, Kirsty Patterson. All the
Mhm.
actors who were hired for this shit, who by the way, like seem to have done as best as they can to not make this terrible for kids. Uh,
Right.
she said that one of the things that happened was, when she got there and was given her Oompa Loompa costume, it wasn't an Oompa Loompa costume. It was a Halloween novelty sexy Oompa Loompa costume.
Oh.
And it doesn't seem to
Oh.
be like
Hmm.
that exposed. Like it doesn't seem that bad because like how do you do a sexy Oompa Loompa? It's just kind of
Right.
one that shows like shoulders
Yeah,
and a lot of leg.
I guess, yeah.
Uh
Mhm.
so it's not that bad, but it's not great. Um
And the harness for the strap-on, of course,
yeah,
I assume.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's from the books.
Right. Yeah.
If only fucking Hugh Grant would have done it in the new movie. But yeah, she suspects that the script was AI generated. Um the actor who played Willy Wonka definitely agreed. That's performer Paul Connell, who talked
Mhm.
about the best part of this show, which was something called the unknown. Uh,
Okay.
do you remember the unknown from Willy Wonka from any of the movies or the books or any? I mean, you didn't read the books.
I did not read the
Yeah, I
books,
forgot. I forgot that you learned to read at 39. You did
mhm.
tell me that, but
Yeah, yeah. I was a little late to the reading game. It's
yeah,
just a fad.
it's overrated.
Yeah, my parents kept telling me. Um, no, I don't remember, The Unknown. Again, I haven't seen the most recent, but yeah, I don't recall an Unknown.
Yeah, so this is directly from the script. This is what
Okay.
the actor playing Willy Wonka had to read.
Mhm.
There is a man. We don't know his name. We know him as the Unknown. The Unknown is an evil chocolate maker who lives in the walls.
Wow. An
Uh,
evil an evil chocolate maker who lives in the walls. How
right.
how would that even what
Isn't the
does he
point
make?
of being an evil chocolate maker, not to get too dark, right? But the point of being an evil chocolate maker is that you don't have to pay kids if you just threaten to cut their feet and hands off if they don't get you cocoa, and then you use that to buy a mansion so you don't have to live in the fucking walls, right?
Right. Right. I mean,
If I
and is an does the word evil describe the chocolate maker, or does the word evil describe the chocolate that he's making? He's
I
making evil
think
chocolate.
I think that the word evil describes the chocolate maker because it
Okay,
said he's an evil chocolate maker in the script. Chocolate maker, one word. It's an AI generated
sure.
script, like very
Right.
obviously.
Yeah,
But it,
sure.
it would have said evil chocolate maker
Mhm.
if he made evil chocolates. His
Okay.
chocolates may or may not be evil. The important thing is that he himself, as a
It is
chocolate
yeah.
maker, is
Uh-huh.
evil, right?
Right.
Or
Yes.
she,
And
or
yeah,
she. Women can be evil chocolate
whatever.
makers too. We don't know, or they. Thank you,
Yeah.
1.8% non-binary listenership of
Yeah.
Underworld News
Couldn't
Tonight. You can be an evil chocolate maker if you want to.
yeah.
Just go to business school.
Any of us could.
Yeah, it's really
Any of
easy,
us.
actually. Oh, you don't have to work at
No.
all.
Right. Yeah. You just have to
Uh,
you just have to, wave the machete.
this
Um
is called outsourcing. Yeah,
No,
so
I do
so when
not
he talks
recall. Yeah.
about yeah, so
Was
when he
not
talks
part of it.
about
Yeah.
the unknown, a person in what looks like uh somebody on Twitter just described this as the Babadook being there, which I think was funny, but it was a person
Oh,
in
man. That
a
what a get that would have been.
they did not get the Babadook. They got a guy in a black robe with a shitty metal opera like fake metallic opera
Uh-huh.
mask to jump out and just kind of do an oogity at kids and then I guess disappear behind the walls and never be seen
Mhm.
again. Like I don't know
Hmm.
what the fuck happens to that. Uh yeah, so I mean we're going to post the pictures. It looks pretty horrible. My favorite part was definitely the meth lab, the Oompa Loompa meth lab, but the unknown is pretty great as
Yes.
well.
Uh-huh.
Um
I
but
didn't see
I
the
mean at
unknown,
least
but yeah.
when I was a kid, like
Mhm.
I still think all right, I understand crying at the jump scare. And there shouldn't be a jump scare
No.
in the Willy Wonka immersive experience unless you're gonna put them in the fucking tunnel ride and tell and put like a "This is for kids
Right.
12 and up"
It's
sign there. Yeah,
obvious.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they need to know they're going into that, and all because also in Willy Wonka, they don't just get jump scared. They either kill themselves like fucking diabetic lemmings, or they go into the
Right.
log plume.
It's more of a body horror.
Yeah,
Once you're in the
yeah.
factory proper.
Exactly. It wasn't like he wasn't like I need to see if you're ready to run a chocolate factory. Do this fucking maze. I promise the fucking face from The Exorcist isn't gonna pop up when you get to the ends.
Right.
But no, like I do think other than the jump scare, right? It's a bit dramatic to call this like a traumatizing experience. If
Mhm.
this is the experience that every kid has, I can tell you mine. When they
Mhm.
realize that adults rip people off and especially rip off children because they're idiots and
Mhm.
their parents will tell them whatever to get them to shut up, and it's easy
Right.
to steal a bunch of $2 to $5 from kids and make a surprisingly large amount of money a day. Uh,
Mhm.
Mine was at a fair I went to, and I was like 6 or 7, and I went through a phase of being like obsessed with space, which I think was really normal. And
Yeah.
there was a thing
Mhm.
called see what it's like in a black hole, and you went in,
Mhm.
and I think it was just a like tube with like a fucking like projector maybe that just showed like a spinning black with a little bit of light, and
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
walk through it and
I'm
get to the end,
familiar. Uh-huh.
and then my dad looked at another dad and was like, well, we can't get our $4 back.
No, I know what you're talking about. But as a kid though, that was did you find it fun?
No, I also realized at that moment I had been ripped off, and I didn't know that
Gotcha.
that could happen. But it wasn't like
Gotcha. No,
traumatizing.
gotcha.
It was like, oh, this is a thing that happens in the world. There are scams, you know?
Right. Yeah. I
I'm
how
gonna say
long,
like if I'm sorry,
how
what were you
long
gonna say?
did no, so, right, okay, so this company or whatever, uh, has this AI generated Willy Wonka-esque script
Yes, which also
and
the actors said they
designs
got
that
the day of, and it's 15 pages long, which I don't know if anyone's
sure.
ever acted before, but that's not how
Mhm.
that works.
No. Um, how long did this event go on for?
So I
Like,
don't
was this a
I
one time a day,
I think
one
it was supposed
performance,
to
or
go on for the weekend. I think it was supposed to
okay.
go on for a few days, but it was canceled and refunds issued after the first one. Uh, and a lot of parents immediately left. They were obviously very upset about the AI thing and
Mhm.
generally not happy. I mean, I don't know though, like I think the AI thing is like specifically what really pissed people off,
Mhm.
which on the one hand, like I get it, right? And obviously, like, if we had an AI generated episode of this show, like, it would be shit, right? But also, like,
Maybe, I don't
I mean, honestly, it might be
might
better. Who
might
knows?
might be a step up.
Yeah, it could be. Uh, but like, the thing is, though, like, I don't feel like it's that. I don't I don't feel like I don't feel like it's that's the step that makes it warrant a refund. I don't think that like your kids going to a
Yeah.
shitty little immersive event for kids because they clearly don't have the Wonka license either. That's the other thing, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah,
like
certainly not. Yeah.
if you
Is
bought your
the
kid
no.
Transmorphers, you don't get a
Right.
refund.
No. No, yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, would it be would it be more, like, acceptable if this gibberish was written by, like, a human writer?
Right. Or if it was just like or if it was just like you walked into a room with like pictures of chocolate and like shitty purple lights, right? Like and then
Right.
left, right? Like
I guess the AI component, what makes it more egregious is, like, how just lazy.
it is very
'Cause
lazy, yeah.
it's not like they tried and fell short, right? Whatever this company or whoever put this together. They didn't try at all.
They clearly did not try at all. And
And
it's weird
that's,
because it seems like there
yeah.
are clearly individuals who did try because like looking at the event and
Uh-huh.
looking at the website was mostly still up, but a lot of it's been kind of taken down and cleaned up a bit. But like
Mhm.
the, like looking at the event and the way that some of the other images, there were like, artists worked on like these mushroom sculptures and lollipop sculptures in the that went in the warehouse. And
Right.
probably built these things that were in the warehouse and didn't think, man, it's just gonna be this shitty fucking warehouse with like my thing in the middle of there with no
Right.
context and the fucking
This is gonna
like
be great when the rest show up.
right, yeah, exactly. That's probably what they were thinking. The actors were like saying, like, "Yeah, we tried to make this as good for kids as possible, but like this is what
Right.
we showed up, and this is what we were dealing with."
Mhm.
Apparently, they were also told that they could give the kids half a quarter cup of lemonade and a single piece of chocolate when they left.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that all tracks.
Yeah,
Was it,
so
I guess, I wonder what brand chocolate it was.
it doesn't
It
say
certainly
this was.
wasn't the Wonka, like, because you can buy Wonka chocolate, right?
I don't know
Like,
about in
it's
Scotland.
oh, I guess
It's
that's true. I mean,
yeah,
it's more
because
of it's a reverse, like, it's a
the
tie-in to the movie, it's not
yeah, and the Wonka candies are, like, kinda not very good. Because what like, which candies are the Wonka I don't even know if they have a chocolate bar anymore. They
Oh!
have, like, the, Nerds.
What?
Nerds are the Wonka candy.
Right,
And that's weird because it doesn't feel like
Gobstoppers?
is
I
that a
always
can
like
you are that a real
Gobstoppers.
candy? I've never had is that a real fucking candy?
Yeah, they're, if it's what I'm thinking of, they're, jawbreakers, and it comes in a box with, like, a shocking amount of jawbreakers. Like, how many like,
Yeah, Jawbreaker is like
hard
a
candy,
I have had, like,
like
4 Jawbreakers in my life.
right, and this box would contain, like, 20. Like, that's what you got, but anyway, they're they can't be, because of physics, uh, everlasting like in the
Yeah,
movie,
that's the
but with the
problem with Wonka branded chocolate. It's not magic in real life.
right, but they do change colors,
Mm.
which invites you to put the candy in your mouth, suck on it, and then remove it from your mouth periodically to see what color.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Sounds fucking horrible and disgusting. Awesome, Jason.
I'm, uh, I'm just reporting the facts. Um,
I think I'm gonna say COVID killed that candy.
you think so?
Yes.
We can only hope. Um, no, now I'm wondering, like, what was it that, because I almost certainly had the same experience you did, right? Of, being excited for something as a kid,
Yeah.
going there and being like, not only disappointed, but like, oh man, like
This was
that
like
realization that, like,
you've been
boy, I got taken,
not just like
right.
yeah, not just like somebody made a shitty movie or whatever, right?
Right,
Like,
like, man, I
yeah,
really fell for this.
yeah, it was probably that same fucking black hole thing at a fair.
Right. No, it would almost certainly be either, a shitty amusement park, a, shitty festival, or a shitty, haunted house.
What festival are you going to as a kid?
Well, I was raised Catholic, so we had every year we would have the church festival,
How do you get ripped
where
off
they
at a
would bring
fucking
in
church
rides. And
festival?
well, it's so, they contract out to, like, a carnival company that supplies all the rides. So you're just as apt to get the bullshit, like, you know, walk through space, or, haunted
Mm.
house,
Oh
and
yeah, I
it's a
guess.
trailer with,
I see what you're
uh,
saying.
loud noises and statues that spring towards you, uh, but,
Man.
yeah,
No, man. Well, I'm
that's
sorry that
we
would have
didn't,
happened at a church festival to you, because
right.
worst
Mhm.
thing that has happened to a kid at a Catholic
Yeah,
church festival. That's for
right.
sure.
Just, yeah. What a disappointment. That and watching the people they hired to, operate the rides, engage in, like, some pretty blatant, attempts to, pick up underage girls.
That's well, that's pretty bad. Um, you know, I will say that I do think legally age of consent is different in carny law. I don't agree with that.
Mhm.
I don't condone that, but you got to
Right.
be careful.
Mhm.
Never taking my kids to
Yeah.
a fucking carnival.
So you're saying it's like a cultural thing.
Yes.
That's sort of a cultural misunderstanding
Uh,
between carny folk and then us, what, normies, or
us tentless.
us tentless. Well,
We only have normal sized tents or smaller. None of us have ever have a fucking big top.
no, I guess that's true. Well, we didn't have, that's the circus. It wasn't a
Well,
circus, it was a fair. Oh, yeah, well, they had,
don't carnies work at the circus too, though?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, because,
Carnies
the
work a bit of
midway, like,
everywhere.
the
They
games, yeah, all the
Yeah,
rigged games and
carnies do the circus, they do the carnival, they do the fair, but they're not allowed into an amusement park. They can't get within 10 feet.
no.
Even the shittiest of
No,
amusement
that's my
parks,
understanding, yeah. Mhm,
even the shittiest of amusement parks, you're not getting
mhm.
anywhere near it.
No.
They see
No.
that they hear an HR training video being played somewhere and scatter.
I guess, going back to the story, I guess my point being, like, interactive, or this immersive exhibit wasn't, that wasn't something that was, like, particularly common. Do you know what,
Yeah,
like, I never,
it's
that
become
wasn't an
pretty
option for
common,
me
yeah.
when I was a
It's become a
kid,
real
like,
thing, like, and more for like, I
mhm,
went to, in Chicago, I went to one about print. Like, some of these things are
mhm,
very nice and can be really interesting.
yeah,
Like, like, I don't know if you've ever been to any of these sorts of, immersive exhibits. I went to a Prince one in Chicago a couple years ago, and it was cool. Like, you went through his whole career and you got to it was very interactive.
there was one here in Denver, it was a Van Gogh
Mhm.
immersive experience,
Do you get to cut
that
your
I
own ear
was,
off and kill yourself at the end?
uh-huh, yeah.
Man,
Um, no, it
controversial.
was, I was interested, and then just in kind of like reading reviews, it came across as sort of scammy as well. Like
Yeah.
the website showed these, colorful, uh, just rooms packed with Van Gogh images and swirling lights, and apparently people that actually went there said it was like a guy had something on a projector.
Right.
You'd go through a series of rooms,
Like
and
a
there'd be
worse version of looking at
the
the painting because it's all
right,
faded and shitty
right,
looking.
right. You have to, yes, yeah. So I never really, and again, I'm sure there are like,
I
I
mean, I
can see how
think
it'd be
that
all like you put effort. Well,
I
where,
think that for
Mhm.
somebody to have an immersive exhibit, like their life does need to somewhat coincide with the invention of motion pictures. Like,
Yeah,
at least there needs to be some like footage of this person.
right. Well, yes, but I think that people have done a pretty good job of just by the nature of like Van Gogh's art style, have sort of animated it in a lot of fun ways because it's very sort of swirly, and I don't know, it already has kind of a like kinetic kinetic sense to it.
You know,
Here on
this
the
is
art review
this is
podcast.
this is paintings critique. Coming up next, I'm going to talk about Monet and mid-century impressionism.
Oh man, right?
And then, if we want to get really spicy, we could talk a bit about cubism.
No,
I
you aren't
still
ready for
don't know
that.
what that is.
Right.
So we'll figure it out together for 3.5 hours.
I
My
don't see a
God.
single cube.
Picasso went through his blue period, but like just use a different fucking color, bro.
Yeah.
Man.
No,
Yeah, I mean, I don't
that's
think those sorts of
interesting.
yeah. I don't think that those sorts of immersive exhibits specifically were a thing, but I guess if you think about that black hole experience, it is kind of offering a mini version of the same thing. So it makes
Right,
sense that like
right.
when immersive exhibits become a legit thing, that you would also be trying to do that because also like a haunted house is kind of an immersive exhibit too, like and that et cetera, et cetera.
No,
Like
that's what I was gonna say. That like that's my well, and uh I worked for I don't know. I don't want to give them like free even for our like dozens of listeners, but I worked for a newish place in Denver that was a interactive immersive art exhibit.
yeah, I remember you
But
sending that to the group chat.
it's yeah, and it was like really cool, but it took years to make, dozens and
Yeah,
dozens of artists,
a lot of money.
a lot of money. Like it was a massive like logistics challenge.
Mhm.
The one of the art pieces uh was a it was like a crystal or a cathedral, small
Mhm.
cathedral made out of like glass,
Mhm.
and it was so like so big and heavy that they had to rip the roof off the building, use a
Oh my
crane to
god.
put like my point being like it was an enormous undertaking,
Right.
and it's permanent, like it's not changing, it's not there
Yeah.
for the weekend. um and that was pretty cool, but yeah, I can't imagine like trying to throw something together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, listen, like they don't what it also comes down to is like this did even from a passing glance before anything.
Hmm.
This isn't an official Wonka exhibit, but they're saying it's a Wonka exhibit. And that
Right.
itself is a very big red flag in my opinion, right? Because like this
Yes.
isn't
Yeah,
like a
right.
bar doing like a Wonka menu, right? Where they could just kind of get away with that. If you are running an
Right.
immersive exhibit off of a film that like just left theaters a month ago and just like banking
Right.
on getting the
Right.
money and running before a cease and desist,
Hmm.
because they like people don't understand like IP is legit for this stuff. I got a this is true. I got a cease and desist letter for a community theater play that I was in high school. That was
Hmm.
a production of Stepford Wives that wasn't licensed. And the author who's dead, his estate found out and like by the way, get a fucking job, kids. And like threatened to sue this theater, so we had to cancel the show, right? Like
No, I was wondering that. Is the, like, Wonka Estate
The
particularly
Wonka
litigious,
Estate.
or is it Wonka Estate, excuse me. Yes.
The Wonka Estate.
Yeah, right. Yes. That I could now I'm picturing I'm envisioning the courtroom and his team of Oompa Loompa lawyers come filing in, like singing a song about
Uh,
torts
uh,
or something.
Picturing his kids and grandkids there like at the fucking estate hearing or whatever it's
Right.
called when they say where the will's going. And
Right.
they all hear
Yes.
they all hear they're getting nothing, and then they hear the name of the person who gets it all. Look over, big titty Oompa Loompa.
Uh-huh. Right. Man, okay,
This
if
would have
this
been a better
place
Willy Wonka immersive
that's
exhibit.
what
Let's make it.
that's
Let's
what
make a
I'm
Wonka
no.
exhibit.
Yes, let's do, like, if these people can get away with this for a weekend, right? If we put even a little bit of effort in, we could come up with some kind of production for this story,
We could
right?
come up with something
We
big, right?
could
Like
make
I'm
like
talking.
an immersive. We can make an immersive, like, theater experience where we people get to, like, sit in the courtroom to see this happening.
I think that
And
it needs to start. It starts with Willy Wonka writing a will
Mhm.
and then getting it notarized, and then so they go to the first room, and it's Willy Wonka sitting down with his Oompa Loompa lawyer writing a will,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Goes
Yeah.
into the next room, he's getting it notarized.
Right.
Goes into the next one, he's having an argument with his wife.
Uh-huh. Is he
Goes
married?
in he
Uh,
is in ours. This is how we're avoiding getting sued by the doll
okay.
estate.
Well, yeah, he must be. Yeah, he must have. I guess he could adopt. Yeah.
He
Okay.
like
Continue.
he found love after the Gene Wilder movies.
Sure. Sure.
Next scene, he's going back to the office to blow off some steam. All of a sudden, uh, his big titty Oompa Loompa secretary.
Hmm.
Help me out here, Jason. What's her name?
Um. Oh gosh.
At least you stall to come up with one while I come up with the
He
one.
he. Yeah. So he's having trouble with Outlook on his laptop, and big titty Oompa Loompa secretary initially is in there, like, helping him with
Mhm.
it, and over time, because you can't you take one look at Wonka, and this guy's not he didn't know shit about tech.
No,
So he's
100%. No,
always asking, like, "Oh, I have a Zoom meeting,
he's like
you know,
pouring
how do
gasoline
I
on
open
top of it,
this?"
trying to get
And
it to run. Like where's the fucking crank?
right, right, smearing, like, caramel on the screen,
I know,
whatever
man.
to
It's a
yeah.
fucking
So
mess.
right, so over time, they get to know each other, and, it's uh they kinda have, like, a friendly, comfortable relationship. Meanwhile, while this is going on, and maybe, yeah, we'll have to do some way of showing how, like, over time,
Yeah, we'll have to. I think we're just gonna have a little bit of gray hair dye spritz between the doors when the Wonka actor runs through. So each time there's a little bit more gray, and then by the end of it,
it'll be, yeah. I was actually thinking there's, like, a day calendar on the wall, and then it just, like, rifles through.
he's
You know what I mean?
you have to
I
you
think
walk
that's,
into
like,
a
the
you have to
standard.
there's a giant calendar room in between all of the rooms. So you go into the first room, and then there's a giant calendar room, and then you go into the second room. Yeah, I think like all of
Right,
that, the Oompa Loompa secretary, maybe she has to take off her glasses to help. It's like, man, I
right,
never realized. He has that moment of weakness. All of a sudden,
right.
you're looking at
Uh-huh.
there's some surprisingly tall, maybe a little bit pale Oompa Loompas working in the factory. Maybe their hair's a little
Right.
darker than
Well, right. But intercut with them, getting closer in their relationship, he goes home to his wife, and there things are just, like, disintegrating.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I mean,
That
I don't.
yeah.
She does not understand the brutal decisions that must be done
Right. As
to
a
be a chocolate
chocolatier.
maker. Yeah,
Right.
let alone when you're dealing with the fucking unknown.
Right. She's a patent attorney. She doesn't know anything about it.
Sure, yeah, like she's like, there's a fucking evil chocolate maker in my walls. First off,
Right.
I got a dead fat kid in the river. Like,
Right. Right.
that one
She
wasn't the
keeps
evil chocolate maker. That was me.
right. She keeps going every time she goes in the basement. There's a different kid that's like, this one's blown up like a strawberry, or this one's stretched out like taffy, or,
It's just
you
like,
know,
this one
she's
seems
like,
fine.
I cannot do this.
Wait, this one seems fine. Diabetes.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, the thing that I want to communicate with this exhibit, and then we should move on to the next story, maybe, because
Right,
we're at
yeah.
the 40-minute mark.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want to communicate with this exhibit, I think that we can all agree, is that we don't need to, like, condone every single decision that Willy Wonka makes. But we need
No.
to
No.
understand that he is a capital G, capital M, great man of
Mhm.
history. And
Mhm.
there are simply things that must be done and ethical lines that must be crossed to shape our world.
Right. No, I totally agree. That's why, we need to honor him with AI concocted, low budget immersive
We're
experience.
not AI concocting this. This is us. We're coming up with it. A robot's not getting sued by Warner Brothers on our behalf.
Yeah. So we've been doing this podcast since October, right? And it's what?
October of
March?
78? Yeah, something, I think. I think we were the
Yeah.
first. Like, I mean, I don't check the number of episodes, but I
Right.
think we were the first podcast of all time.
I think so. We were writing it on parchment and putting it in bottles,
Yeah.
popping a cork on it, flinging it
We
into
were
the
we were
sea.
yell we were, no we yelled into the bottles, and I would yell into a
Oh,
bottle, and
right.
then you would
Uh-huh.
yell into a bottle. I remember we would label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so people
Right.
would
And you open them
uncork
in
each one.
order.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I was so
Right.
happy when we finally got to do them on wax cylinders.
Yes. No, that was a real step up.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, for a while, and obviously we were interested in sort of paranormal stuff like before
yeah.
this, just in
Shout
life,
out
right? So
Weird
we
NJ magazine.
yeah, we have but for me it was the Time Life, what, Unexplained Mysteries series.
Yeah,
Um,
a bit before
but
my time, but yeah,
yeah. But we have a fair amount of experience. I think that's fair, right? Like,
yeah.
and uh,
I think we're pretty much of an expert as any of the paranormal experts we've
right.
talked about
And
on this show.
no, and I actually, since we started this, I looked into it, what it takes to become a quote paranormal investigator.
Okay.
Like, is there any way we can get, some kind of
I
certification from
so
anywhere, or
I am pretty sure we can, but it is all about our willingness to spend $40 each.
exactly.
I
No,
like that's what I'm
and
gonna say.
that is exactly what I came to. So my point being that we can, I think we're justified in proclaiming ourselves sort of experts in this field, in the field of
Whether or not we're
paranormal
justified,
events.
I will say we're experts in this field, and honestly, a few others.
Right. What can you name another one?
Uh,
You
I
might
I would
consider us
say
expert in?
not on the podcast, but off the show, I dabble in giving strangers medical and legal advice.
Oh, right. No, that's true. Yeah. Um, yeah. So with us being experts, I figured, what if we used our knowledge here to help solve people's problems, right?
I
Like besides, as we do, research stories and kind
Yeah,
of just
we
give
talk about their problems,
information.
give our little make our little jests and
Right.
jabs. But we
Right.
don't help with the fucking situation.
No.
We
Um
probably make it worse.
yes,
I don't
almost
think we
certain.
really contribute at all.
No. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Um yeah, and just in the course of doing research, for the show, uh we come across like a lot of cries for help, right? Like,
I all the time people
hey, this
say,
happened.
Andrew
What do you
Michaels,
think? How do I
help
yeah.
me. Andrew
Uh-huh.
Michaels, please. And
Right.
I say,
Yeah.
it's like Superman, you just can't save everybody.
No. Right. um yeah. So
But god damn it if I don't stop trying.
no. Um Yeah. So I ran across this question here on Paranormal Encounters Reddit. Um, I think we might be able to help this person out. Uh,
Please.
sounds sounds like they might be younger. So maybe we can give some of our lived experience advice.
Okay, let's
So
start with
again,
this.
yeah, this is from
I'm curious as to how you figured out they're younger. I'm gonna be interested.
just context clues, but we'll
Okay,
so
I'm
again,
sure
this
we'll
is
get to
from
it.
from r/paranormal encounters.
Hmm.
Title: Shocked at this. I was working out in my garage and
First
listening
off,
to
I just want to say, sick, bro. Get
Mm,
in those lifts. I
yeah,
I do it too.
the what, lits. What'd you say?
Lifts. Get in those
Lifts.
lifts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Where's okay? I was working out in my garage and listening to Nirvana. Then I randomly began to think of the devil. Then a song called "The Devil and I" by a band called Slipknot started playing, and I really don't know what to do about this. Any help or suggestions would be great.
So I
So I'm
think you
thinking they
figured out
might
they're
be
younger because of a band called Slipknot, huh? A
right.
band called. All right, I guess I think we do actually now.
Right.
We do have some 18 to 22 listeners who probably don't know Slipknot, and because Slipknot was even like kind of on the way out when I was a kid.
Right.
Um, there's a type of music called new metal, and it's famously bad, but it's not really that bad. Slipknot is one of those
Well,
bands.
it's
How would you
it's it.
describe Slipknot?
Well, I think new metal. And then I'll answer a question. Uh, new metal. I think it's bad. People consider it bad from like a um, I don't know, like messaging or content stand. Like they're not necessarily bad musicians. Like they play very well.
It's a bad use of their ability.
Exactly. Yes. It's something that I feel like nobody really asked for.
That's fair. That's fair.
Or wanted at the time. Um, Slipknot, I think okay. So part of this like new metal wave that came in what the 2000 like early maybe late 90s, early
Yeah, I think it
2000s.
starts in the late '90s because mid to late '90s you're getting Limp Bizkit,
Yeah,
you're
right,
getting
right.
actually a lot of the really early new metal too is like some good stuff coming out of thrash. I don't need to get too fucking into this. The Sepultura
Right.
album Roots Bloody Roots, which is a really good album, but
Um yeah, so part of the genre, the trappings of the genre also involve sort of like masks and costumes on a lot of these
yeah,
bands. And
everyone,
so
it's either you're a frat boy or you're doing the masks and costumes thing. Or
yes.
emo. That's those
Yeah,
three.
yes, yes.
Those are the three
Um
types of guy that you get to be.
right, if you're doing new metal. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so honestly, I have a hard time keeping them separated. Like again, music's fine. I didn't hate, this decade or so of music. I didn't love it, but I've never owned a Slipknot album, never owned a Korn out, nothing
Of the new
didn't really
metal
hook
I
me like that,
like,
but
yeah, because I liked Linkin Park,
I like yeah,
obviously, but
Linkin
that I
Park.
liked them more. I was an emo kid, so I liked
Mhm.
Linkin Park. 'Cause I mean, in middle school at least, I was an emo kid. Um, of the new metal that I listen to though, like I listen to a few Korn songs pretty frequently. I
Mhm.
stand by Korn's entire first album, and I think
Okay.
"Freak on a Leash" is a great song.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm not personally a Limp Bizkit fan, but I like break stuff. I do like break stuff.
I
Uh,
did I did see Limp Bizkit
yeah,
live. That actually
and
at Woodstock. So
you know what? Maybe this is an obscure new metal band, and then we'll start giving some advice. But you know the band Soulfly? They had
yeah.
they were kind of a one hit wonder
Mhm.
band. They had jumped to fuck
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
The
I
the
do.
guitarist
Mhm.
of that band, Mark Rizzo, I knew his
Mhm.
cousin in middle school. The guy is
Yeah.
a I'm not going to say the guy's name. He's a Wildwood Beach police officer now. Well, his name's Matt,
Mhm.
and you could probably guess his last name. He's a Wildwood Beach police officer now. Kind of sucks as a guy. He sucked as a guy then, but now he's a Wildwood Beach, New Jersey police officer, and he has a fucking thin blue line Punisher logo
Oh,
on his
no.
Facebook.
Mm-mm.
But here's the thing: forget
No.
about like police brutality, right? You're a
Sure.
cop in Wildwood Beach, New Jersey. Who the
Mhm.
fuck are you even punishing?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess yeah, that's a good point.
Right? Like, that's the thing
I
that
don't know.
really pisses me off. Anyway, let's give this fucking guy advice.
The employees at the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Yes. Having gotten our history, our brief and
Yeah, so
probably
I think you should start
wildly
over because I
ignorant
think we've
history of
probably yeah, let's start the question over and not do these interruptions. Just give it one more read through.
okay. Title: Shocked at this. I was working out in my garage and listening to Nirvana. Then I randomly began to think of the devil. Then a song called "The Devil and I" by a band called Slipknot started playing, and I really don't know what to do about this. Any help or suggestions would be great.
All right, great. So I'm going to start with how you avoid this situation in the first place, right? So I was working
Okay,
out in my
that seems
garage.
like a
I
good place.
randomly
Yeah,
started thinking about the devil. Stop.
sure. Uh-huh.
Where did we go wrong, Jason? What do you think?
Uh, I guess for me, I'm thinking like, why use a garage when Planet Fitness is $10 a month?
Well, the garage is
No
free.
commitments.
The
Yeah,
garage
no,
is
cut
$0 a
that.
month,
Yeah,
and
cut that part out. That
I'm
was a
not
dumb
cutting that
joke.
shit out. That was the dumbest fucking question I've ever heard. I'm leaving in that dumb fucking question. We're
No,
possessed by the stupid question demon over
yeah.
here.
Um, no, like you haven't been like working out, running or whatever, and just dumb shit pops in your head.
No,
Like
you know
I
what? You
sort of
got
get
to
that.
you should be focused on your form the entire time throughout the exercise because that's the only way you're going to do it properly. I'm sorry to say it. Well, if you're randomly thinking about the devil, you've already even if
Mm,
no Slipknot plays, you've already fucked up your workout. You do
by
bad reps, you're
yeah,
gonna have a bad set. You do enough bad sets, it's a bad workout. You do bad workouts. You're just gonna take that approach to life. So shape up, motherfucker. That's my first bit of advice. Because I have a
sure.
body that's in its prime for podcasting. I
I guess okay, so obviously we can't uh question, this person. But what I'm wondering, listening working out, great. Listening to Nirvana, fully recommend.
yeah,
Uh and then a song, The Devil and I by Slipknot started playing. Now, I guess to know how weird or unusual this event would be, I would have to know what, like, if they're listening to a Nirvana album and Slipknot starts playing,
that is weird. Yeah,
like,
but if they're
right,
listening
right.
to Nirvana, especially like sometimes you'll like you ever be on are you ever on Spotify and this is for my new stand-up special. You ever do this? Are you ever on Spotify
Mhm.
and you see like a guy's playlist and it says it's like it'll be like the Beatles playlist. But then like
Mm.
halfway through the playlist this guy just got really into Leonard Skinner and now it's a Leonard Skinner playlist.
Right, right.
Like
Uh-huh.
this could just be fully be one of those.
Yes. Right. Um, yeah. No, could be, yeah, I don't know. I guess so what I'm gonna take from the question
Mhm.
is that the person, uh, despite listening to Nirvana,
Right.
who is not Slipknot, was thinking of the devil, and then a song about
A
the
song
devil
about the devil played. And Nirvana actually doesn't
played.
have any songs about the devil, I don't think, right? They have songs about sad and bad stuff that maybe would be implicitly satanic, like in the eyes of an evangelical, but I can't think of any Nirvana songs that are about the devil.
Uh, I think, well, on their Unplugged album, I think there's like a folk song that references, a lake of fire.
Is it a cover though, or is it one of theirs? Is it an
Oh,
original?
no, it's a cover. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, their Unplugged set, they did mostly like,
yeah,
folk and
it
yeah.
was a lot of folk covers, and
Mhm.
yeah, this is not two
But
white
no,
guys
not
with
something
beards
they're
talk
known for.
about '90s music.
Nirvana,
Believe it or
right?
not,
Hey,
uh,
hey, what do you
that would be a great podcast that doesn't exist though.
what do you think the world would be like if, Cobain was still alive?
Honestly, I think he'd be the third host of this show. I think that things would have kept going downhill for him for a while, and then that would be where he'd find
Then
himself. And we'd get a boost because we'd be in the like resurrection of Kurt Cobain documentary as his rock bottom.
okay,
Oh man, if
um,
only.
what Now
Anyway,
we're
so
getting
anyway, let's get back on topic. So,
all right.
The Devil and I by
The
Slipknot starts playing
right.
because you're working out and you're
So
thinking about the
yes, and
devil.
you're thinking of the devil, right?
Okay.
And it also, yes, any advice like what to do, any help or suggestions. So again, not clear
Okay.
what help. Like, is this a power you want to hone?
Well,
Like,
so
do you want to
here's what I'm
get better
thinking.
at doing
Yeah, so
this or
next, think about think about Billy Joel making a new album. Make new music in the world. Don't just like really think about what would a new Billy Joel album sound like, and then listen to Nirvana while working out. But the whole workout, don't focus on your form. Focus on what would a new Billy Joel album sound like. Because I think that's how you could use this for good, and I think that would about balance out any Satan. Also, Billy Joel, Long Island
you're
Jewish guy, totally Satan neutral.
you're I feel like that's kind of a big ask that this person who uh
I don't even think the Billy Joel
heard a
album needs
song
to be
by
good.
a band called Slipknot would know anything whatsoever about Billy Joel.
All
Like
right, so
even
all
what
right, so all
genre.
right, so let's back up. Let's
Like
back up,
country
maybe.
or
He adult contemporary. You'll understand when you're older.
adult yeah.
I One day you wake up and you're a contemporary adult, and then you listen to a lot of
Right.
Joel.
And you're like, I guess I just have to listen to shit that sucks now.
All right, Zanzibar is a fucking banger, you motherfucker. He is the fat
I like
man's
I like
Hendrix.
I like I like Billy Joel. Um but adult contemporary, there is a sort of blandness uh that sort of threads its way through the genre.
Yeah,
There's
it's
like a cut above what you would hear waiting in a dentist's office.
yeah. I guess that's fair. So I guess I would start this kid with listen to
Mhm.
the entire Billy Joel discography because I think it's going to be important if you're going to manifest a new Billy Joel album.
Okay.
You need to get a feel for his evolution as an artist. Don't just listen to the hits, do the deep cuts.
Hmm.
Don't do a Spotify this is Billy Joel playlist. You're doing this for fucking humanity, right?
Right.
That's the
You
first
got to put
thing.
the work in. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean so that's the first thing. And then I would say look at some interviews with Billy Joel, watch some of his live performances, get a feel for how his voice changed.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah. And maybe his sort of perspective on the world. Like,
yeah,
because he had sort of evolved through the what,
of course.
40 years, 50
That's
years he's
I
been
think I
performing.
think, 50 or maybe even 60 years. I don't know, I could just make up any No, I don't think 60 years. 50 years sounds about right.
I think
I'm gonna
I
say
think
70.
70s. I think yeah, like yeah, 70s I think is when
Yeah.
he kind of took off, but
Billy Joel, if you're listening, how long have you been performing? Count the first bar mitzvah show. Underworld News Tonight at gmail.com.
um no, I think this is solid advice. What so then assuming that they're working out in the garage, what exercises would you pair with what Billy
Creating a
Joel
new
song?
Billy Joel album.
Let's talk about maybe two.
I'm gonna start with have you ever done forearm curls? I wrestled in middle school, so
Uh-huh.
you have to do a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
forearm
Uh-huh.
exercises. I'm gonna
Right.
say you gotta do a forearm exercise because he's a pianist, right? That's he's got strong forearm.
Sure,
I do
sure.
not doubt that Billy Joel has got a fucking grip. If Billy Joel
No, of
puts you on a
course.
wrist lock, you are fucked.
Right.
That's why I will
Yeah.
never get within striking distance of that man.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
what yeah. So what song to the arm curls?
forearm curls very specifically. You're gonna want to do those to Piano Man, of
For
course.
excuse me. Oh, really?
Yeah, obviously, because that's a song about playing the piano, and
Mhm.
that is Billy Joel's biggest muscle is his wrist. Like I said,
Mhm. Mhm.
it is too expensive for Billy Joel to ever masturbate.
I guess that's true. Hmm. I think what I would do is as you're going through your Billy Joel discography, when you get I think that burpees would pair nicely with Only a Woman.
Ooh, yeah, and we're talking about the technically. So I mean, look, the burpees I know are with the push up and the jumping jack at the end,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
because
Exactly. Yeah.
technically, I
That's
found
a
out
burpee. Yeah.
technically a burpee is like neither of those things and seems just kind of like a weird, pointless like squat plank thing.
Okay.
God, burpees are fucking holy shit. I used to
They fucking
fucking
suck. No,
they
they yeah.
do, but honestly, it is good to know that like if I really was like I just want to get cut and hate my life for a year, I could just do
Mhm.
30 minutes of burpees a day and I would legitimately
Yeah.
look fucking amazing at the end of the year. But it
Yeah.
would be the worst 30 minutes to experience every single day and I would like dread going down to my
Right.
basement and it would never get better.
And I think it would literally take me 2 years to get to the point where I could do burpees for anywhere near 30 minutes. Like,
When
if I
I
was gonna start right now, I think I'd be lucky if I got 7 burpees. So you're
Yeah,
probably
no, that's
looking
true.
at a minute and a half.
Yeah, no, man, God. Anyway, yeah, you got to do burpees to only a woman. You got to do those forearm curls to Piano Man.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say do some squats to scenes from an Italian restaurant because let's be real,
Mm.
Billy Joel's
Mhm.
longevity. I mean, body is a part of it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and then manifest. That's the important thing. So then it's gonna get past that playlist you make. You're gonna get to that next song, and we want to hear that new Joel album.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you know
No,
what else
I think it's great. Yeah. Yeah,
and you
no,
know what?
please.
My other
Mhm.
advice to this person, number one,
Mhm.
is so this person seems worried that they manifested the devil, and the devil's making himself known
Yes.
by playing Slipknot.
That's my yes, that's how I read this.
So I wouldn't worry about that because I just don't think I think that if the devil is really a Slipknot fan,
Mhm.
maybe he's not so bad.
Really.
I have never met I do not like Slipknot, right?
No, yes.
And like I said, the devil issue, I'm Jewish, I'm neutral. Uh
Mhm.
So I've never liked Slipknot necessarily, but like I've never met like an evil Slipknot fan, you know?
Man, I don't know. I don't know if I can make that claim. I feel like there's a definite there's a definite kind of person that evil might be a strong word, but definitely on that side of the seesaw, definitely on the evil side. Especially like today. If I drop my car off at the shop to get an oil change and I'm hearing Slipknot, I don't know. I'm thinking, no, this is
Yeah. Well, either way, I would say maybe listen to a little bit more Slipknot, go through the discography a bit. Because I
mm,
think also like I think that maybe as the devil sees how the band's evolved, maybe that in and of itself will kind of I don't want to say dispel, but like, maybe you'll get other musical interests, latch on to something different because you're also kind of
mhm,
experiencing music grow with them. And that's the beauty of going through the Slipknot discography, a band with such a rich lore of
right.
sounds behind them.
Or curate a devil specific playlist.
Exactly. Honestly,
Maybe this is what you're being driven towards
yeah, and
is
honestly, like while the devil's there, you might as well get some help on your form. That's what I was saying at the beginning, right? Like
you
you
got a
got like
spotter.
get a spotter. Yeah, you can really up those ways because ideally you do sometimes. I'm assuming this guy, like let's say this like sounds like a 15-year-old boy, right?
I think I think that's safe. Yeah.
I think this guy's trying to bulk, right?
Hmm. Oh
So
yeah,
let's give some
definitely.
advice
Mhm.
here. Number one, I don't know if this is still a thing, if this advice is still around. I've never had to bulk really. I've mostly had to cut and like build
Mhm.
muscle while trying to lean cut. It's just the way I'm
Mhm.
built.
Mhm.
I've got a Jutalian body. But
Right.
uh number one, don't do the go mad diet. That's the gallon of milk a day thing.
Oh,
I had a
what?
roommate do that. You've never heard of this?
No.
We're getting well off topic here, but this is
No,
something that people do to
no.
but it doesn't matter. People are listening to their bodybuilders do this to bulk where
Okay.
they will it's not really bodybuilders. This was like bro bodybuilding advice that was popular in the 2010s and maybe the 2000s,
Okay.
called the gallon of milk a day diet. Where whatever they're
Hmm.
doing, they would also
Mhm.
drink a gallon of milk a day. Because the idea is when they're in their bulk phase, they want to like force themselves to get the calories and like protein and calcium. I had a
Sure.
roommate do this for I think he lasted like a week. He looked so fucking sick. Like, he looked so fucking sick
I
the whole
can't
time.
imagine. Man.
He looked like fucking man, this guy looked like fucking Frankenstein. He looked like he looked like bloated, you know? Obviously, 'cause he's drinking a
Well,
gallon of
yeah,
fucking milk a
right.
day.
And presumably others like, if that's all you
Presumably
had to
protein
drink, you would
shakes
go
also
mad.
with milk
Yeah,
and, like,
right.
chicken and all this other shit. And, like, I'm like,
Yeah.
man, like, you look like just the 1,000-yard stare because he knows he's gonna have to go to the toilet again, and, like, he knows what that's been like, right? And I'm like
Yeah.
and he'd be like, I think I'm getting big, man. I think I'm getting big." And I'm like, "Man, you look like fucking shit, bro."
What an awful idea. No,
Yeah, so don't do
I hadn't
that.
heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're trying to bulk, right? You don't want to do the go mad diet. If the
Yeah.
devil tells you to do the go mad diet, like, don't do that. I think he probably has a different lactose tolerance than
Mhm.
than most people. But like, I'm gonna say it like you can now. This is an opportunity to lift to the point of failure, though, right? Which ideally you want to do for
Mhm.
muscle growth. You know, I mean,
Uh-huh.
we've been
Yeah,
described as
yeah.
the most jacked guys in podcasting, and
Well, yeah.
you want to lift to the point that you can't lift anymore. And you can't
Mhm.
do that on a home workout without a spotter. This post makes me think your father is not a very active figure in your life. Um, so like you don't really have a spotter, it seems like. So I think that you could take advantage of the devil's time and also give us a
Mhm.
new Joel album. So thank you. Let us know how it goes. Underworld News Tonight at
Yeah.
gmail.com. Uh,
Alright.
and uh, I
Yeah,
think,
I feel pretty good. I feel like
yeah, I
we
think
may
we
have
solved
helped.
this guy's problem. But you know what? I think that I want you guys to let me know if you could manifest the devil in the gym. What would you ask him
Mhm.
about? What would you ask him? Would you ask him to work out
Hmm.
together? Spotify question. Let us know. But would you ask him for form help? I think that's kind of where I'm going because every depiction I've seen of him too. I mean, Devil's jacked. I'm really trying to work on my shoulders right now, and
Mhm.
the devil, like any depiction, he's got good shoulders. His arms look fucking great.
Oh, you're right.
He's
Yeah.
not going to help you with squats. Don't ask him for help with legs. He's got the cloven hooves thing.
Right. Yeah.
That man skips leg day.
Uh-huh.
But he's got some
Yeah.
great upper body and core strength. So that's what I'm asking. I don't know. What are you thinking? You could ask him about life advice too.
Mhm. And you're like a weightlifting guy, like a gym? But
Uh, uh,
for me, I mean, I've gone to gyms, but I much prefer, like, body weight.
yeah. So I
Like,
do I
stuff
do
where I can
body
do
weight.
kinda anywhere and
Yeah.
yeah.
So right now I'm doing body weight and I'm talking about like my actual workouts right now. I'm doing body weight and resistance band stuff
Mhm.
at home, and then I go to
Mm,
jujitsu 3 times a week.
yeah.
Uh, but like but that's also because I that's safer to do at home, and I don't have a weight area right
Right.
now. I'm trying to get like some weights,
Right.
because I like lifting weights, like at
Mhm.
least dumbbells. Um,
No, I like it too. Said, like, I've gone to had gym memberships and gone, but, I I don't know. I guess I've always been more like first of all, I'm overweight right now, so let's get that just admit that. But I've always been more interested in like, okay, I want my body to do these sorts of things, which include,
yeah,
hiking long distances, maybe rock climbing. Like, so those are things I target as opposed to just,
yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna get swole. Like I don't
yeah. No, I'm not
that
like
was
I'm
never
not.
my
Yeah,
mindset.
I've
Yeah.
never been like a get totally swole. I like to do like a full body thing, feel stronger. I think especially now that I'm doing jujitsu, like it'll help when I'm like not
Hmm.
get totally destroyed during the rolling phase as they call it. But yeah, no, we've I think we fully solved this guy's problem. And like I said, let
Hmm.
us know what advice are you asking the devil for when you summon him in the gym. Could be workout
Hmm.
advice, could be life advice, could be job advice, could be sex advice. If it's sex
Hmm.
advice, I'm probably not going to read it on the air if it's too gross. But like, so maybe vague
Okay. Sure.
or
Too
detailed. Or get as detailed as possible. You
Se
know what? You
sex
know what?
sex is too gross, says Andrew.
Sex is too gross. No, you know what? I just know that some of you guys are into poop stuff, and that's fine by me, but not for my show.
Yeah, famously poop free.
Statistically, I bet some of our listeners are into poop stuff, and I'm just saying I don't want that. I'm not reading that on the air until the Valentine's Day special 2025.
Mhm.
Yeah, we do have some more important paranormal news than what happened in a 14-year-old who had just heard about Slipknot for the first time's garage. And by the way, that I think, last bit of advice, the most important thing is maybe you yourself should enjoy your musical journey into the world of Slipknot and nu metal as a whole.
Yeah.
Uh
Mhm.
but anyway, this is even more important
Yeah.
than that.
That's fine. Yeah.
This is from England,
Okay.
uh our mother country, because England became, they gave birth to us in a sense.
Sure. Yeah.
I think, and we fought a war over it, so I
Okay.
don't know how the metaphor really works.
Right. As one does with their mother.
That's hey man, you know, I
Twice, I think.
I think oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about the War of 1812. Man, we
Kids
should start a
kids
podcast
today.
about the War of 1812.
All
Just
right.
a 35
Actually
part series where we
I
just
actually
to
don't
talk.
know much. Yeah.
What if we
Canadians
what
burned
if
the
we
White House, I think.
what if we started a
Sounds
podcast
cool,
where
huh?
we got a real published historian who specifically studies like that period of US history to talk about the War of 1812 under the pretenses that we're
Mhm.
legit too. And then we just ask him whatever stupid fucking questions come into our
Right.
mind. How long do you think we could get him to stay? If he doesn't have
Man,
tenure.
I like this idea a lot,
If he
but yeah,
doesn't
we
have if
can't.
he's an adjunct, I bet for a while, right? Like that's what I'm thinking.
Right. A and I feel like given our complete lack of, like, anyone knowing us, we could only do this once.
We
Whereas
could
if
do
you're like a comedian, I think, an established comedian can probably get a lot
get
of
people to
mileage out
play
of something like
yeah,
this, 'cause,
cuz you get people
like,
to
people
play
will be
along
willing
with
to go
it.
talk to him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
versus like, no, that's
Like,
true, but
like, for us, it's almost just cruel.
yeah, so
Like,
because it's not gonna really help us get bigger either, right? Because
"Honey,
who the fuck is this guy? I
honey,
mean,
I got great news. I finally get to talk about the, Battle of Habsburg or whatever." And then we're just like, where do you think Bigfoot goes to bathroom at?
Man, or are you sure they had burned the White House because they were smoking too much weed in there? Yes, I'm quite sure.
Right. Oh,
Man, all right. Anyway,
man.
this is more
Okay.
important than that. This is more important than our fucking schemes and dreams and
Right.
scams and
Mhm.
plans.
Right.
UFOs. Should have said UAPs, but UFOs. This is a story
Yeah.
from the Shropshire Star.
Okay.
UFOs like rounded discs. This font is fucking
Mm.
horrible, so the C looked like an E, but they're like rounded
Mm.
discs. Have been
Alright.
seen above Much Wenlock. Much Wenlock is the name of the landmark slash town. This is the name.
Much Wenlock, both
Much
like
is the much like the word much, and then
like
Wenlock.
most. Okay.
Like
Gotcha.
most
Okay.
Wenlock. Oh, it's two words.
Understood.
Much Wenlock.
Yes. It's a mistake. Got it.
Yeah. This is a medieval town in Shropshire, hence why the
Uh-huh.
Shropshire Star is on it. Support your local journalists like the
Mhm.
Shropshire Star, pending me reading
Mhm.
anything else in there, because really, like I said, I don't know what else is in there. I cannot stress this enough. Every
Right.
time I read from some random fucking place.
Right.
As if that absolves me. As if that absolves me.
Right.
Maybe I should do 5 minutes of research, but that's another conversation. A
Right.
number of residents of a Shropshire medieval town have reported seeing
Okay.
UFOs in the sky above a 17th century windmill.
Oh.
The
Hmm.
strange objects were described as like sherbet discs after being spotted above Windmill Hill in Much Wenlock, which is my first question. Jason, the flying saucer, that's like the
Pretty
classic UFO, right?
common. Yeah, yeah, right. The
And
yeah. Mhm.
and I think part of the ideas of UFOs, especially, are you're kind of still a total skeptic. I
I'm
never
I'm
thought it.
I wouldn't say okay, so, uh, I'm 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 a skeptic, like, just in life in general.
Yes.
I'm not particularly hard on UFO sightings,
Eh.
like, but I apply sort of the same standards I apply to everything else. Um, whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but, like, no, I'm open to it, and I find it interesting, like,
Well,
but, I'm curious, what's a sherbet disc?
that's part of what I'm
Or
what
was
I'm
that
getting
what
at.
you were
Well, so
Yeah,
that's the first thing. It's like, why are these like we're talking about the 16th century Midwinter, the medieval town, but apparently the townspeople are from like the 1930s, right? But because like the
right.
flying saucer to me, and this is kind of what I was getting at, is like I'm kind of becoming, the more that we read about these, a lot of these UFO sightings, obviously some of them
Mhm.
legit, some of them bullshit. The more we hear about a lot of this other stuff, the sort of interdimensional hypothesis does in some ways make more sense, and part of that is that you don't know what you're seeing, so you react to it based on a different frame of reference. There,
Okay.
something like a flying saucer, it kind of becomes a circular thing where people see it and they're like, "Oh, it's like
Sure.
an ice cream saucer because it's 1950 and that's a thing I have." And
Oh,
then
okay,
and then
okay.
more people see it and it looks like a saucer. Now, like, people don't have ice cream saucers and UFOs don't look like a normal bowl, so people say, it's a tic tac, it's a pill shape,
Right.
um, other sort of weird, like,
No,
other
no,
sort of
no. Yeah, yeah.
characteristics.
No, that makes sense. It was just weirded or worded. They didn't say, like, sherbet plate
Yeah,
or like sherbet disc, or
yeah.
is it dish?
Sherbert Sherbert disc is what they said. Oh,
Right.
you're right,
Which
sherbet
sounds like
disc.
a particular it sounds like a, like,
That
confection, some kind of dessert, a sherbet disc, and then I don't think that's
Oh, maybe like an ice
so
cream
they serve it
sandwich?
to
Like
you.
that sounds like a
Maybe?
sherbet, but like a sherbet ice cream
Right,
sandwich? That sounds
yeah.
disgusting. Oh my
No,
god. British people, are
right.
you eating
Yeah, I
ice cream
don't
sandwiches with fucking sherbet in the middle?
no, who
That's
fucking
the
knows?
scariest shit of all.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But no, I mean, it seems like, what they're describing is a
Yeah.
series of sightings around this windmill. So it seems like almost a full fledged flap. The term flap in this scenario is
Uh-huh.
used to sort of describe these huge influxes of sightings, right?
Right, right.
Um, and it's interesting that it's taking on this very old timey characteristic of the classic flying saucer, which we don't really see these days.
I was gonna ask you about that, if there's, um, what the sort of evolution of, UFO sighting, uh, spacecraft, for lack of a
Yeah,
better word, was because
yeah,
yes, the disc, the famous, sherbet disc, like, flying saucer, yeah, that's been around. I think that was, the original, or at least in recent history, like, what, in the 40s,
yeah. It was
that
the
started to
original
become
one to go. It was
seen.
the original
Yeah.
mainstream image of what a UFO is, and it was
Right.
probably, and in the mid 20th century, it was probably what you were most likely to hear about in civilian sightings.
Well,
Um,
it was what was depicted in, like, culture, right? Like,
yeah,
science fiction movies in the, like, 50s and 60s,
yeah. Well, it's also what's
they
probably
were in a
cheapest to make
disc,
on a.
like,
It's
well, of
probably cheapest to
course,
make look good on a
right.
film set too, which doesn't help. But like,
Right,
there's that, and
right.
just like it's relatable to people because they know what it looks like. A lot of the famous photographs, even the ones that have been like debunked like as actual frauds and not just debunked by like a guy
Right,
looking at it, like those
right,
also
mhm,
depicted the that flying saucer shape.
right.
um
And the flying saucer, I think the appeal of it, or what's particularly interesting about it in terms of, extraterrestrial sightings, is the lack of, like, obvious means of propulsion, right?
yeah,
Like, they don't have
so
propellers or jets, or
that is
yeah, it just sorta
consistent with
hovers.
a
Yeah.
lot of UFO and UAP activity, though. Even today, obviously the Tic
Oh,
Tac
right,
video,
right,
there's no
right.
obvious means of propulsion.
Mhm.
The jellyfish sighting that happened recently, I think, did we talk about the
Yeah,
jellyfish
no,
sighting? I
we
think we
did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the jellyfish sighting, there was no obvious means of propulsion. In general, you're not really going to see one with an obvious means, because it doesn't necessarily, that immediately opens it up to
Right,
foreign aircraft.
right. Yeah. I guess what I was my point being that, like, that's what, without commenting one way or the other, if these were true extraterrestrial
Yeah,
visitors, or if
or
this
even
was
again,
something else, but
even
or
extra dimensional. Let's just be
extra
clear.
dimensional. Um, I think that's what sort of captivated, uh, culture, is that, again, that, like, and to the point that now it is every UFO sighting, there's no obvious means of propulsion. But I think that's what, like, And I might even be having the order wrong, like, maybe
Well,
someone
also, like,
envisioned a
we have a
UFO, and
word,
then it was seen, and then
Jason,
yeah.
like, also, like, part of that too is, like, there is a word for a flying object with an obvious means of propulsion. It's called a plane or
Right,
a helicopter. So people are gonna see that and they're gonna say, "Oh, a
right.
plane," right? Like, uh,
Yeah, right. Right, but, like, the n say, the USS Enterprise as depicted, right,
yeah, I guess.
has a means of, like, to our like, what appear to be means a means of propulsion, whatever those weird the
Yeah.
engines on the, like, poles on the sides, but I wouldn't
The
describe it as a plane.
No, that's true. I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, I think the big thing is just like it does kind of immediately from a distance demand a level of attention because also the USS Enterprise, if you
Mhm.
saw it super high up and you were on the ground, you probably would describe it as a plane, right?
Mm,
Or it's
sure,
maybe a
okay,
very fast
yeah,
plane, right? But like you're not close
yeah.
enough to see that the front looks like that or anything, And that also is part of
Anyway,
like
yeah.
the saucer shape. People see something vaguely round. But part of this too, and I think part of what can contribute to a lot of these flaps is that people, and this also I think is part of what makes the interdimensional hypothesis so compelling to me. Uh,
Mhm,
that you look at whatever you're seeing during UFO or UAP or even cryptid activity or ghost activity, and you don't know what's going on, so you're going to fill that in
mhm,
with with a cultural framework, and what's being used right now is being used locally for the people of Shropshire and for the people of Much
sure,
Wenlock is
mhm,
the classic flying saucer. I just find that very interesting in and of
absolutely.
itself.
No, I do
uh
too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so this came from
Mm,
this was Ava Smith telling her Facebook followers that she had been walking her dog on Windmill Hill on Friday morning when she saw rounded plates in the sky that resembled sherbet discs. Another Much Wenlock resident posting anonymously also told Facebook users that he had spotted a UFO over Windmill Hill. He said that he tried to get a photo, but a flash blinded him.
hmm,
Um, there have been other sightings
hmm,
above the town. More than a decade ago, a lady called Jenny, last name
mhm,
not given, from
mhm,
Much Wenlock, spotted a superstructure with black lattice work on the underside, hovering
hmm.
above the town. The following morning, a
Wow.
crop circle was found in a near. These people are getting like really old timey UFO activity. You know what I mean? Hearing
Right.
about
Well,
crop circles.
no, right, right.
This is like
And
1960s UFO shit. This is weird.
right. And are crop circles, are those so I've seen them debunked,
I think
but
they've
I don't
been
know
pretty
if
heavily.
it's okay, if that's sort of the consensus is that no, people do this.
I think that I don't know much about crop circles. I think they have been debunked. I mean, it's still impressive in the sense that it's like
Oh,
pretty hard to
absolutely.
do. I
Yes, yeah.
respect. I
No,
think
completely.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think the consensus is like crop circles are fraudulent, but like it's a more respectable fraud. And a lot of like the old
Yeah.
timey
It
UFO
took
fraud
effort.
stuff, like
Yeah.
took a
Mhm.
lot more effort and like photography and stuff.
Mhm.
Still, you don't want to lie about a UFO sighting because you don't want to contribute to it is obvious. This stuff is
Right.
out there. People do see unexplained things, and there's a lot of stigma because people make shit up. So
Mhm.
I'm of the opinion that it's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether or not you believe in this stuff
Absolutely.
necessarily. You
Mhm.
know,
No, I agree.
UF's
Yeah.
UFO sightings they've been seen across Shropshire. It's been named the county has been named one of the most popular sites for sightings in the UK,
Hmm.
along with Mid Wales and Wiltshire as one of the country's best known hotspots. Yeah, I mean, so we have a lot of really old school UFO activity here.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, the article in the article, they talked about a, like, 16th century windmill
Yeah, this was just
being
what the
maybe a
woman
focal
saw.
point. Oh, okay.
I think this was where the sightings that this person saw, that these last two people on Facebook said they saw, were both near the 16th century windmill.
Gotcha.
Um, no, but that is interesting. I mean,
Yeah. Hmm.
and obviously, I mean, and this is something that I think we've talked about, discussing in the future is like,
Mhm.
there have been, especially in medieval England, there are a lot of things that do weirdly resemble UFO or alien activity. There's one that's a fraud,
Mhm.
that's like a modern fraud, but then there are a few others that are really interesting and compelling that'll be, interesting to maybe one day talk about on the show.
Hmm.
Um, so to
Yeah.
see them, I mean, obviously they're in a country with a lot of old shit. They're going to sometimes be over old shit, but it is
Sure.
interesting.
Yeah. Just yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear more. Especially given that, what they are describing is the kind of old-timey
Yeah.
UFO, disc. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It feels connected in some way, but I'm
Yeah,
just
I mean, and I know
talking,
we do
so
have
I don't.
some listeners in the UK too. So if you've been to Shropshire, if you know Shropshire, I mean, are things just weirder over there? Is this, is I'm just curious as to what your thoughts are on this because, like I said, like it seems like there have been a few sightings here over the years. There have just been two locally. So I mean, depending on if
Mhm.
more reports are coming out, this could be the start of a flap. It could also fizzle out.
Yeah.
Um, but it'll be quite
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah.
Um, because I think we also can get over fixated on UFO activity here in the states, and of course it does happen all over the world.
Yeah. Mhm. And, if you are from, Shropshire, let us know about the sherbet.
Yeah, let us know about your sherbet disc. Is a sherbet ice cream sandwich good? What do you eat it on?
Right. I
Guys, you
can't
don't need to
imagine.
do this. Like, you don't. Oh, man.
I can't imagine what you would eat it on that.
Because I like an orange
uh
sherbet. Like, and it's not
Oh,
not a
no,
rainbow
I
sherbet.
love
Yeah,
sherbet. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I haven't had it in a long time, but I do like
Yeah.
rainbow sherbet or orange sherbet.
Mhm.
Um, but it's not a sand. It's not an ice cream sandwich food. It is an in a bowl with no toppings.
Yes. Cool. Um, yeah, thanks. Interesting. We'll, yeah, have to keep an eye
You see, you didn't want to go along with
on the
sherbet
stories.
talk, Jason. You don't think that that would be good for our listeners?
It isn't so much that as that, I've exhausted my knowledge of sherbet.
I don't even
I
necessarily
do
think
like
I
I
know
do
what.
like a rainbow sherbet. That was
Yeah,
my favorite
I don't
flavor
know
as a
what's in it.
kid. What's is it? It's like fruit. I guess I don't even know what makes it a
Yeah, I think
sherbet.
I really only had it as a little kid. I think it might just be like sugar because
I don't know.
sorbet is like was like all fruit.
Like fruit and ice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think is a sherbet might be, fruit, ice, and some dairy, like
yeah.
some
There's
milk,
dairy in the sherbet. Yeah,
but they are all like fruit, nominally fruit flavors. Like you
yeah.
don't eat a chocolate sherbet.
No, you don't need a chocolate sherbet. Well, but I also I grew up eating Italian ices, and sometimes, and mostly the fruit flavors. But you do
Mhm.
see chocolate Italian ices. They're fucking horrible, but you do see them sometimes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Not good. Anyway, that is the end of Sherbert talk. Jason, you want to close out this well organized, well thought out, totally on topic episode that I think was both of our best of all time, maybe.
uh, our final story today comes to us from, CBC News. Uh,
Canadian
CBC,
broadcasting.
Canadian broad. Yep. Yep.
All right.
Out of, Montreal.
So keep that in mind, guys. Like, they are trying to propagandize us. They want to divide us as a
Mhm.
country so that when they come back down from the north, we don't even see it coming because we're too busy fighting
No.
each other.
Right. And this article's written by, Cassandra Yanez Layton.
Okay? I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
It's probably about as
I
good as
mean,
I could.
I was gonna say that's clearly how I pronounce it. I don't know if
That's what
that's the right way
I
to
don't know how
pronounce it.
I don't know how you pronounce it, but I definitely know that that's incorrect. I haven't
No,
even read it, but it sounds wrong and
it's
not right.
fine. Well, it's a hyphenated last name.
Oh, so it's not even real.
Yeah, what?
Like it doesn't even fucking
What's not
matter.
real about.
The last name. So I fucking like it's a hyphenated last name. Just pick the easier one, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's
Uh,
gonna fucking hear it.
right. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess CBC News is a pretty big concern. It's not like the, local, what was what was the last, the story
Shropshire.
from Shropshire Star.
The
That was the name of
Shropshire
the.
Star.
Yeah. I'll bet we could get a Shropshire Star correspondent on the podcast at some point.
I bet if the Shropshire UFO flap continues, I'll invite the reporter onto the show.
I don't think it would be that hard.
I know I don't think it'd be hard at all. I think I just need to email them, but I think I'd want there to be more Shropshire UFOs.
Right,
If there's
right,
no more Shropshire UFOs, I don't want to talk about
right. There's
like
no reason,
I
right?
don't want to talk about the importance of local journalism in the UK. Maybe
Well,
we should.
we could.
Jason, how would you describe the importance of local journalism in the UK, or do you want to go on with this story?
Well, I guess I'd want to know more about that old windmill in town, but
It's
otherwise,
true.
yeah.
It's true.
Um,
What's the new scoops on the 17th century windmill?
right. uh, the headline here: Turkey that terrorized Quebec town taken down by slingshot wielding resident.
Oh, so we've talked this. This I think comes to a few topics that we've talked about, right?
This exactly, and this is what I was thinking. Like how shitty it is that we struggle sometimes to find like Bigfoot stories or like other interesting like cryptid paranormal stuff. But here within the span of what, a month, we have two like slingshot
Yeah,
avian
yeah. We
murders.
talked about this a few episodes ago. There was a story in the
Like
UK. We were very confused because it said they had catapults, but we did
yes,
eventually determine these
the
were
famous yes, the famous case of the uh what, swans murdered by a catapult.
the catapult swan murder
The catapult
executions.
swan murders.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to say extrajudicial killings of swans via catapult.
No,
But then we,
actually, no, that actually applies here.
oh, okay,
This is the definition of an
yeah,
extrajudicial
right.
killing. This is vigilantism.
This is just total vigilante justice. Very interesting. Totally
Yes.
unsanctioned. Yeah, can I make a bold claim before you continue the story? You know we
Please.
don't talk about politics on the show, right? We've made an
No,
executive
right.
decision.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
First stories in the UK
Uh-huh.
that we heard about this. The
Mhm.
swans via catapult. The stories in Canada. They don't
Hmm.
have guns. Do you hear about bird
Mhm.
slingshot murders here?
No, you don't.
I will keep my AR-15. Thank you very much.
You know. Yeah. Uh, apparently in the town of I'm going to pronounce this uh oh, all right. So it's
All right, let's go.
okay. It's not okay. The problem is that I'm from Southern Ohio, right? In Kentucky, the state that immediately borders Ohio, there's a major city that is pronounced Louisville. That's sort of
Mhm.
slurred together, but it's named
Yeah, right.
after the French monarch.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
If you're not from there, you call it Louisville. But if you know people from there, they're all going to say Louisville, right?
Right. And so this is the same thing, but in Quebec, and there's an E. So it's pronounced, or excuse me, it's spelled Louisville. Louisville?
I think that would be
Louisville.
Louisville.
Louisville,
I think
Quebec.
that's it. Yeah, I think we
I think we
nailed it
nailed it. Yeah.
together.
Uh,
I took
yeah.
11th grade French.
Um, a wild turkey that was roaming the streets of Louisville, Quebec, and chasing residents was slain Thursday morning by a resident armed with a slingshot, according to Mayor Yvonne uh, Deshays.
All right. All right, so first off, I'm going to say that not that much goes on in this town because the
The
mayor
town, yeah.
had to give a press conference when a local resident shot a turkey with a slingshot.
The town of Louisville, it's about 5,000 people. The mayor, actually, the day before the killing on Thursday, had issued a call to arms, uh, asking for someone with a good shot to come and take out this turkey. The turkey, again, her quote, she's quoted as saying, "When it's attacking citizens or children or a person in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter. That's not normal," said Deshays. "I defend my citizens."
All right. First off, That is extremely normal behavior for a wild turkey.
What?
Wild turkey attacking somebody. Wild turkeys, if they're in an area with a bunch of people, like they're aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, have you ever seen a wild turkey?
Oh. Oh. Be sure to leave that in. Oh.
Have you seen a wild turkey?
Yeah, they weren't particularly aggressive.
But
The
like you
ones
don't want to
that
get close,
the ones that I've spent time with. Well, I guess that's true.
right? Like
But
they
do you have
usually
a reason? Like, why
I
would you
think
get close?
I just think it's the conventional wisdom with them is like let them be over there, you be over there. But if you're like if it's
Sure.
like if a wild turkey is like stuck in the civilian area and just like walking around
Oh,
and like
right. Like
it's on
that's my front
if I
door. Yeah.
released a wild turkey on Main Street and opened like here, it would attack people, right?
Yes.
You know, like just by being a
Hmm.
wild turkey. So
Hmm.
I'm not saying like I understand that if a wild turkey is in town, you might not have like the time or resources to do a catch and release. But like,
Right.
don't say it's not normal, you know, because it seems like it's just in an area where it's like getting to people's front doors, and you probably should have animal control.
Well, yes. The article goes on to say that Mayor Deshays uh, did contact Quebec's Environment and Wildlife Ministry. Never heard back. Uh, it is it's illegal to kill turkeys outside of, they have a turkey hunting season in Quebec, similar, I guess, to how we do
Hmm.
here in the States. But the mayor, oh, excuse me, it's a he. Apologies. Uh, Mayor
Men,
Deshays,
we
how did
support
I
a boy
pronounce that?
mayor on this podcast.
Yeah,
Sorry, can you repeat the name?
to I'll probably say it differently this time. Um, Deshays,
Deshays.
Deshays,
Yeah,
Deshays, Deshaies. That
Deshays.
Deshays, yeah. Um, no, to all of our listeners who happen to identify as male, if you work really hard and try and follow your dreams, maybe someday you could be a mayor.
And then you
Just
yourself can extrajudicially order the killing of any fucking turkey you
yes.
want. You don't even need a reason.
Mayor has no regrets. Even the provincial police, and here I'm really going to trip over the French pronunciation. The Sûreté du Québec.
All right. Yeah,
Sûreté.
sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love how
We're
their
present.
police are called the sorry in Canada.
It's what Surette. But they're like the schwa is over the U and an E. So
They're
Sûreté.
Soule, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
Sûreté du
I
Québec.
don't know how much we would need to stumble over French words today. I'm gonna
I don't
say
know.
that we
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
You
I've
know what?
tried.
I'm gonna say the Soleil de Quebec. Sure. Omelette du fromage,
Uh,
whatever we want to call them.
sure.
It's our fucking
Um,
show. When they have their own podcast, I'm
right,
not
they
gonna listen
can.
to it because it's gonna
Right,
be in fucking French. But when it's my show,
yeah,
ban us
and
from Quebec.
and okay. So if I happen to be listening to a podcast that's based out of Montreal, and they are mispronouncing Denver, Denver or
Yeah, they
whatever,
probably say it a
I
stupid
don't think
fucking
I
way.
would. I don't think I would take it personally.
I would think I would get. Yeah, I don't think I
I
would
think
fucking
I
complain.
would
I don't
chuckle
think
and be
I would.
like, "Oh,
I don't think I would be the fucking co-host and editor of this show, looking in the mirror and saying, "You're a piece of shit. You can't even say fucking French words right on your
come
goddamn
on."
podcast."
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Um. Yeah. So the turkey had been hanging around, chased around citizens, was aggressive. On a Wednesday, mayor says, "Hey, won't someone rid me of this meddlesome turkey?" Thursday, someone took care of the turkey with a slingshot.
Man,
Uh, it's important to note here, specific weapons allowed for hunting, legal hunting in Quebec. Uh, a slingshot is not one of them,
Hmm?
but a crossbow. Crossbow's fine.
Hold on. That seems worse. I guess that the argument is that I guess the argument is you're gonna like not just like bludgeon a bird to death with a bunch of pebbles
Right.
if you're shitty at it.
Yeah. Uh, the uh, uh, the provinces, whatever, however I describe their wildlife, their what did I say? Wild animal, natural reefs, yeah, environment and wildlife ministry. Excuse me. They've opened an investigation, to see if any charges would they're gonna apply any charges. Again, mayor was fine with it. Province police were fine with it. Turkey was killed with slingshot. Dude took the turkey home and is going to eat it and gave the claws to the mayor, I guess, as a kind of a trophy.
I First off, I thought you weren't supposed to eat wild turkey, but that's fine.
Don't you drink it?
Oh, Jason. Man, once again, I am so thrilled to
Oh,
announce that
woo.
recurring podcast guest Brian Regan is here once again. Thank you so much, sir. Uh, fuck's sake. Oh my god. It's very funny that they're opening into an investigation because it's killing a turkey out of season. That's like what, like a $200 fine, probably, right?
I would assume so. I
Like
don't.
the invoicing hours on this investigation. I guess probably not because the guy just like the whole thing's on camera or whatever. But like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it
I
seems a
guess here's
little.
the question: is this turkey is being accused of terrorizing the town, right?
Yes. Uh
And
huh.
another thing
Right.
that Jason, you've kind of your theory. You call me a
Hmm.
crackpot with my
Uh
interdimensional
huh.
talk. You call me a
Mm-hmm.
fraud. You call me a crank. You call me a lunatic. You
Lunatic.
call
Yeah.
me a
Uh huh.
scourge of the group chat.
Hmm. Yeah.
You call me a
Hmm.
fucking stop forcing me to do this show.
Uh huh.
Uh,
Sometimes dipshit.
yeah,
I'd call you
yeah.
dipshit. Yeah.
You called me a dipshit a few times.
Uh,
But you have your own little theory about an animal revolution happening, and I'm
uh-huh.
wondering. You said that this was terrorizing the town.
Yes. Of
Do we mean?
what did I say? Louisville. Louisville.
Yes, yeah, I think so. Go Bears.
Uh-huh.
The Do you think this might have been maybe politically motivated?
Like maybe like it was an assassination.
Like it was
That
part of a
the
broader sleeper cell? Because the
oh
definition of
the turkey?
terrorism, yeah,
Okay.
because the definition of terrorism, right, is like violence or extreme shock events committed to stir a reaction for usually a political or some sort of purpose.
Right.
Like
And I
robbing a
don't
bank isn't
think
terrorism, you know?
no, no. And to be fair, given the what the article describes, I don't think the turkey was engaged in terrorism. I think some people weren't thrilled that a wild turkey was like charging at them or, flapping in their face, but to my knowledge the turkey didn't harm anyone.
Not even a peck, not even there's no injuries reported, nothing.
No, the mayor, whose name I will not pronounce again, said that, yeah, something about, I'm not going to wait for that turkey to scratch a child
Well,
before authorizing the killing. So it seems like this is like a pre-crime.
man, this is
What
actually fucking insane. And you know what the big thing is like
what so I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you go.
What I'm thinking is that the wild turkey was kind of a like community organizer,
That's what I was thinking
like
as
a
well.
rabble rouser,
We were on the same page.
right? And this was a deliberate
Yeah, maybe getting
assassination
a bit
attempt.
out of his range. Maybe he's saying, You know what?
Right.
Turkeys, but look what they do on Canadian Thanksgiving. I don't know if the Canadians eat turkey on Canadian Thanksgiving. What Canadians? You eat turkey on your Thanksgiving?
Do
Underworld
they
News
have
Tonight at
Thanksgiving?
gmail.com. They have Canadian Thanksgiving.
Okay. And they
I
call
don't.
it Canadian Thanksgiving?
I think they
That
just call
seems
it
shitty. We
Thanksgiving.
don't call ours US Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, because we have the best one. Uh,
Um, yeah. So, yeah, my assumption is the turkey was out there radicalizing, I guess, what
Local birds as a whole,
local
maybe.
animals, right?
Yeah, maybe
Pet
specifically
birds.
as
I don't
birds.
know,
Yeah, flightless
parakeets, and
birds. Even maybe if it was just the flightless birds, because then you're also getting some of the. Well, I guess geese can fly, but
well, turkeys fly. Like
no, they
they
don't.
don't. Yeah, they do.
Not like really.
Well, they can like get up in trees and stuff. They don't fly like
Wait, can a chicken get in a tree?
yeah.
All right, I wouldn't say it like that's like, but that's like
They don't like
propel
glide through the air majestically, but they
right
can fly. They can
for like very short distances upwards. They can jump well.
they
They
can
can
fly.
jump.
I'll say they can fly a lot better than I can.
All right, I'm gonna say that turkeys can double jump.
That's actually I don't know if I like that. I don't know if that's technically true, but man, I would love if that was something an animal could
All
do.
right. All I'm saying with this, because I think we are on the same page, right? We've got a turkey organizing the birds, getting
Uh-huh.
out of its range. And,
Yeah.
Mayor, what was his name? John-Luc Picard or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Jimmy Escargot here thinks, I'm
Mhm.
going to take out this turkey before it gets a chance. But you know what? You can kill a turkey, but you can't kill an idea or a symbol.
Right.
Gobble, gobble,
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah. Maybe someday in the future, your kids are gonna or grandkids are gonna get a day off school because of this brave turkey.
Exactly. And then one day your kid is hungover
I was
and
gonna
decides
say
your kid
we'll call it
is
Wild Turkey Day.
your kid will be taking a brave stance by not
Mhm.
going to work and getting brunch on that day.
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
Well,
That's something to keep an eye on. Yeah.
rest in peace to the slain turkey martyr.
Mhm.
And let rest in peace to our audience, because I think they must have died from laughter in this incredible episode.
Yeah.
With just the A+ content that we put out week after week after week.
Mhm.
You know how you guys
Yeah.
could help us
Do
make
the
more?
work. Hmm.
Number one, rate and follow this show wherever you get your shows. And I think you should rate it 5 stars, but maybe you disagree. Maybe you think you shouldn't. Well, give it the
Right.
lower rating if you think that. Give it the
Mhm.
higher rating if you want to be correct. Either way,
Mhm.
we appreciate you, but it is proportionate to the number of stars in the rating. So
Mhm.
bigger the better here.
That's yeah.
Uh,
That's what just my mom always tells me that.
exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
And she and you turned out perfectly well.
Yeah. Totally well adjusted.
You know what you guys could do? You could answer the Spotify question that I gave earlier. That is, what
Mhm.
advice are you going to ask the devil for if you summon him in the middle of the gym, just like that guy
Mhm.
did on Reddit? We want to know, because we answered his question. Now we want you to answer ours,
Yeah.
and we answered his question with aplomb too. You could also vote on your favorite story in the poll.
Mhm.
And you
Mhm.
could follow us
Yeah.
wherever you get your
Please.
social media. Underworld News Tonight
Mhm.
on Facebook, Underworld News Tonight on Instagram, all one word.
Mhm.
Underworld News Tonight on TikTok, all one word.
Mhm.
Underworld News Tonight on YouTube. I think you just search us there and you'll find us, but it's episodes of this podcast and the same clips we
Yeah.
post on Instagram, TikTok.
Mhm.
And we're not on Twitter, so you can't find us there yet.
Well, it's
Or
X
it's X now. You can't find us on
or
X.
whatever. Yeah. Who
Yeah,
cares?
or Twitter or
Mhm.
fucking, any of those,
Threads.
yeah. Well, we have a Threads account that I
Do we?
have used 4 times.
Ah. Well.
So you can follow us on Threads, but I don't know if you're going to see anything. We have
Right.
shit to do. But we do post the clips and some pictures and some other stuff on the other platforms. So follow those.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
and you know what else? Who else you can follow on Instagram is Jason. You have an Instagram, right?
Yeah. Jason V Strong, and You have an Instagram.
Yep. I'm Andrew Michaels 95 on Instagram. My Instagram, you're gonna find clips of my stand up, little pictures of from my life with little jokes. I try to do those a couple
Mhm,
times a week. See my comedy outfits. I always post my comedy outfit before I do a
mhm.
mic now, and then
Yeah,
sometimes see like pictures of my food or my dog or whatever. And then
yeah.
Jason's is art that he
Hopefully
actually
those are
draws
2
using
different
real time.
things.
This is the darkest material that you have ever done yet,
I
Mr.
know.
Regan.
Yes.
Mr.
Yeah.
Regan, I just don't know. I am. I just don't know if PBS Kids is going to be okay with this one. That's unfair to Brian Regan. I
No,
do like.
yeah,
I feel
well,
like I
I
make too
think
many
it's
Brian Regan jokes that like reflect that
I
make me
don't
sound like
yeah.
a dick.
I
I
know
don't
who I
particularly
don't
dislike the
really
guy.
yeah. I'll have to watch him. I don't I know who he is and I've seen him, but it's been a long time, so
Anyway, uh,
alright. Yeah,
yeah,
no, thanks, yeah, a lot of fun.
yeah, we had a lot of
Thanks
fun.
for spending time with us and
Speaking of which, I know you guys are probably
hmm,
pretty upset because the show's over and you got to wait another probably 7 days because you listened to this right away, like the greedy little piggies you fucks are. Oink, oink, oink. Uh,
wow. Oh my god.
but don't worry, you guys. You'll get your fucking slop because it comes every week because it's all phantom time, but right now. So you're kind of listening forever if you think about
Yeah, I just don't think about it.
it.